Absolutely. Ambassador Gupta, I will ask you to please stay on the line with us as we have some breaking inputs coming in from the ground. Hamas's military wing has issued a statement saying that it is committed to a ceasefire and hostage for prisoner deal with Israel after reports that it handed over 7 hostages to the Red Cross. The group does not confirm that it transferred the hostages, but it said that it remains committed to an agreed upon timetable, so as long as Israel does its part. Ambassador, I would like to understand Hamas, they have released the first batch. There are only 20 people alive who they are actually going to release. And now, even in their official statement, they have not clearly mentioned the release of the hostages. However, Israel has announced that they have been handed over to the to Red Cross and will soon be handed over to the Israeli military. But we have heard reports that Hamas will be conducting these release over several locations and over a period of time. Why are they doing this? What strategic decision is behind this?
Well, there are 2-3 reasons. First, they will like to ensure that they are able to hide the places and the modus operandi in which those hostages are being sort of taken out and being released, so that Israel and others are not able to get clear information about their hideouts and how those hostages were kept and where they were kept and so on. So that is one aspect. The second aspect is, I think that the Hamas will also like to watch how much Israel observes its part of the deal. Whether Israel is able to, Israel withdraws its forces from the areas that it has promised to, what happens to the administration of Gaza, what happens to the arrival of the humanitarian aid and so on. So for them it is also important to see that the remaining parts of the deal are also observed.
Absolutely. Joining me on the broadcast is also Manan Dwivedi. He is a foreign expert, foreign affairs expert. Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to understand how this entire peace deal can be looked at in the future, because right now we are seeing that this a very positive step indeed, this is the first step. However, this is benefiting both the parties. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had promised his people that he will get back the hostages, and he is doing so. That's in his benefit. Hamas will also see release of its prisoners, so that's a benefit on their side. Going forward, do you think that the Gaza peace plan will have more positive steps?
I personally feel that if we look back in the history, we should not completely contain ourselves to the contemporary context. If you look at the nature of diplomacy, the nature of negotiations, and the larger context of the Israel-Palestine conflict, then America has always played a significant role, whether we in India like it or do not like it. The idea is that the Camp David Accords occurred in 1979 when Anwar Sadat met with Menachem Begin. After that, the American roadmaps, a couple of American roadmaps by different American presidents, they were also extended, and that led to some debate, some discussion, and some kind of confabulations going on between the Israeli and the Palestinian side. But still, in the contemporary context, when we move over from history, what we are going to find here is that in the Hamas's statement that you also read out, there is this particular rider, a kind of a hidden challenge, wherein it has been mentioned that when the Israelis or the enemies, the Hamas says this, they were not able to capture us completely or destroy us completely, then at that point of time, they also failed to bring back their hostages. So now they have come back to the negotiation table. But if such negotiational and diplomatic pinpricks can be relegated to the back burner, that can be ignored. Apart from that, I think the idea is that Israel has also released 2,000 prisoners and Hamas has released 20 hostages. But I personally feel that Benjamin Netanyahu had been facing a lot of domestic flag and protestations from the Israeli, certain sections of the Israeli population or the relatives and the friends of the people who were either maimed or caught from that Israeli resort around 2 years back. So I personally feel that the body bags, when later on in the second or the third phase, when they come back, that might lead to some kind of a counter move or a backlash from the Israeli people who have been directly affected by this by the death of the hostages. But all in all, if we look at the situation in toto, what we are going to find is that the awaited talk of President Donald Trump with Egypt and other actors is really going to be awaited. That might bring in some much needed succor to the lives and the humanitarian crisis that has engulfed the Gaza Strip. But I personally feel that Hamas, being a non-state actor, has to be strongly monitored, has to be strongly followed, and then only some kind of a semblance of normalcy can return back. Because a couple of times the ceasefires had been declared, but once again, sometimes the Hamasis broke it, sometimes the IDF, Israeli forces, they broke it. So I personally feel this, but this time, I think the peace or normalcy is here to stay as far as the American efforts and as far as the international human cry is concerned. That is what I would like to convey here.
Absolutely. I'll ask my panelists to stay on with us. We would like to apprise our viewers with some breaking inputs that's coming in from the ground. Hamas has now published the names of more than 1,900 Palestinian prisoners